friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here to talk some more about my favorite baking product brands. And though I've used all these brands, some of them for many years, one in particular that I'm getting more into more recently after doing a little bit more digging into the company and seeing the other things that they have available. So though I'll be talking about various brands, I do want to focus today mostly on the Anthony's brand, because I'm really impressed with their quality and price of the items that they sell. And they sell all kinds of products. The first product I ever bought from them was the tapioca starch. Now, tapioca starch or arrowroot powder are two of the things I most commonly use to replace cornstarch in various recipes. And so that's what I started with, because I was trying to get away from cornstarch just because it's a little more difficult and can be quite expensive to find a cornstarch that is non-GMO. So I just decided to not even bother with cornstarch, because basically you can go with any other type of starch and it's going to do the same thing in your recipes that you need starch in. And I was really impressed with their prices. And one of the things about them is that if you do shop through Amazon and you use Subscribe and Save, they're one of the ones you can pretty commonly find in the Subscribe and Save option. Not all of their products are, but quite a bit of them are, much like the Judy's and the Hoosier Hill Farm, and even a lot of the Now Foods products. The Anthony's Goods also has their own website, and I was able to set up an affiliate link with that. So you can, if you don't like shopping through Amazon, then you can go to that affiliate link that I'll always have in the description box down below now. And you can go through that. Now, it doesn't save you a percentage going that way, but it is a way that if you like their products or you want to at least try them out, going through that link can help us out a little bit. But if you want to save a little bit more money and you don't mind shopping on Amazon, at least the one product that I compared the prices, which was the Ceylon cinnamon. So the 1 pound, currently as I'm shooting this video, the 1 pound on Amazon was under $13, where on their store was $15. If they're already cheaper on Amazon, and they're the ones, unlike the Ceylon cinnamon wasn't available in Subscribe and Save, if it is one of the ones like the buckwheat flour and some of these others that are available on Subscribe and Save, then you could probably save even more going that route. But again, it's going to be your option. So what I'll do is I'll give you Anthony's Amazon store link, which is also going to be an affiliate link, because any Amazon link we share is an affiliate link for us. And I'm also going to give you the direct company affiliate link for them. And then I'll be doing the same for Now Foods, because they're one of my other favorites now for baking. I've been using Now Food products for years, and just a little bit here and there, mostly their supplements and their essential oils. Now I'm starting to get more into some of their baking products, like the psyllium husk powder, which can be used as a supplement, but can also be used in gluten-free baking to replace the gums that a lot of people have issues with, like the xanthan gum, Gower gum, and some of those other ones. Now, one thing about both Now Foods and Anthony's is they have a lot of organic product available. Now you can see this one here isn't labeled specifically organic, but one thing about psyllium husk powder is it doesn't need to be, because you don't have to worry about it being sprayed anyway. It's not something that needs to be sprayed with anything, because plantain grows very well on its own without any encouragement. And then, but you can see here with the Now Foods, their coconut, this is the coconut flour. I also got their coconut milk powder, which I really like, and that I also had used in making that coconut cream chocolate recipe that would have come out just recently, that I'll link to in the description box down below. Very happy with that one. But Anthony's also does have the coconut milk powder. And my side-by-side comparison, they were pretty close. I liked the Now Foods just a little bit better, but you got to really taste them side by side to be able to tell any distinct difference at all. But they're both organic and they're both very good. So those of you who are vegan and are also looking for something powdered, some kind of powdered milk to put up for long-term storage, there's a couple options right there. If you like the flavor of coconut, that's one way. By the way, I do a video on other ways that you can put up milks for long-term storage, and the one I recommend most, so that's a separate video I'll link to down below, and that's specifically for people who have to be dairy-free or vegan. But anyway, let's come back for a minute to the Anthony's products, because after I started looking more into them, I was really excited about what I found, because I thought they only carried flowers and that kind of stuff. But then I started, when I went to their store specifically, I realized they actually carry quite a bit of organic herbs, and they always sell everything in at least a 1 pound bag. Their flowers are typically going to be 3 or 5 pound bags, and their herbs are usually going to be 1 pound bags, which is how the only way I like to purchase herbs if I have to buy them at all. Obviously, I grow quite a bit of my own, but there's some spices and herbs I don't grow yet or can't grow. So Ceylon cinnamon being one of them. So I was really thrilled, even though my favorite 2 brands for quite a number of years has been both Star West Botanicals as well as Frontier Co-op, and I'm still going to highly recommend them because they both have a lot to choose from, whereas the Anthony's it seems like they're only just kind of getting into some of these different herbs. So they don't have as many different kinds available, but what they do have is far less expensive than either the Star West or the Frontier. So that example I gave on the Ceylon cinnamon, so even if you went to the store, their store, and paid $14.99 for the 1 pound bag of Ceylon cinnamon, to get that same kind in the Frontier Co-op, it was $27 for the same organic Ceylon cinnamon 1 pound bag. So you're going to be saving almost 50%. And if you go get it through the Amazon, then you're going to be saving more than 50% of what it costs to buy the Frontier Co-op. So when it comes to the stuff they carry, one of the things I like better about them is their price. They have a better value. Now, because of the type of packaging that they're stored in, they all have this Mylar liner to theirs, and then it's plastic on the inside with the zip. These all have the zip on them as well, so that you can just press the extra air out and seal it up if you'd rather just keep it in the bag because it's going to take up less room, or if you don't have as many jars to repackage your stuff in, leaving it in these as you're using it is just fine. However, whether it be as you're using it or you're putting it up for long-term storage, anything you're going to buy in bags like this, I recommend storing in boxes for easy storage. So just say some of the cardboard boxes you get, just pack them in there, and then you can close up that box once you have it packed full, and then you can easily stack another box on top of that. As far as long-term storage, that's going to be the easiest way. Just keep them in the packages they came in and then put them in a box. You can also do the option that I've done with a lot of my herbs, that is to get those plastic drawers that are like the size of a shoebox. Sometimes they're even called shoe boxes, and they're stackable. Yeah, that's good for things that you don't want that you're not necessarily storing a ton of, but maybe just a little drawer full is plenty. So anyway, back to some more of the Anthony's that they have. They have nuts, they have seeds, they have dried fruits. They even have the heavy cream. They have nutritional yeast, which I'm going to be switching to their nutritional yeast over the Hoosier Hill Farm, though I love that brand. One thing I liked about the Anthony's is it did specifically say that the vitamin B2, I think is the one in there, is not synthesized. A lot of times those vitamins that when they fortify things, and nutritional yeast is almost always fortified, a lot of times they're synthesizing certain vitamins, and B2 and sometimes I think B12 are often those ones that are synthesized, but necessary. So you want to try to get away from the synthetic forms of any kind of vitamins. And then they also have cocoa powder and cocoa butter. Now you usually will hear me saying cacao powder and cacao butter because that's what I buy. The only difference between the two is cocoa is not raw, where if it's called cacao, that means it's still in its raw form. But if it doesn't matter, especially if you're going to be making chocolates or anything where you're going to have to be cooking it or heating it anyway, you can probably save a little bit of money by going through with Anthony's. And I believe, if I remember correctly, those were some of their organic items. Most of them, again, are organic, but not all. Like I made the mistake here. They do have an organic brown rice flour, and they have the non-organic one. So unfortunately, I ended up with the non-organic one, thinking I was going to get organic. That's why you always got to pay attention. Even if a product typically sells mostly organic, it doesn't mean every product is. So I got the wrong one by mistake, but they do have the brown rice flour in the organic. But all of their products are non-GMO. So that's the other thing, is even if it's not organic, they're all non-GMO, and that's really important. I think all the herbs I saw, like the turmeric, the moringa powder, I believe the chlorella, I believe those are all organic. And I think the nuts, fruits, seeds, those kind of things all are too, but double check. So far I'm pretty happy with their products. I know a lot of my followers have been using Anthony's, and they've been very happy with them too, with their quality and their standards and their pricing. So that just really makes it worth it. But as with any product, whether it be Now Foods or Anthony's or Frontier or Star West, because even those offer some products that are not organic, always read everything. And when you're looking at supplements, for instance, this is something I forgot to mention in the supplement video, is that no matter what the brand is, no matter how good you feel about that brand, always look at the ingredients that are being used in those particular things. What are they using to make that particular supplement? Now, though I love Now Foods and I use mostly their supplements, there still are other supplement brands that are even outside of the 5 that I mentioned. I was just compiling the top 5 that I will go to because of the ingredients and the milligrams and the pricing and whether or not it's organic and so on and so forth. I try not to, unlike what I did here with the Anthony's flowers, randomly just pick items assuming they're all organic. Make sure you're reading that. So if organic's important to you, you've got to check that. Now, talking a little bit more about Now Foods, is that yes, they have all kinds of baking products of all kinds. So they don't just sell the essential oils, which I highly recommend. I've been using them for many years. I like them way better than certain high expensive multi-level marketing type brands that I've tried, and I love their quality. I do suggest, by the way, you check out the video on the supplements, the top 5 supplements, where I go into more detail about Now Foods, if you want to learn more about them and their quality and their testing and all that, and some information I gave in there. I've used several of their different types of products. Like I've had their organic cocoa mix that I bought for my son, I mentioned in that video, and a few other things I don't remember through the years. I've used them off and on. But now I'm going to start looking more into the various products that they do offer when it comes to baking or anything else for that matter. Now, I do have other brands that I use maybe just a single baking product from, and one of those is Simply Truth. Though there's a juice that I'll buy from them every so often when it's available on Vitacost, the main thing I get from them is their organic white flour. Now, the rest of the flour I use is a whole wheat flour I get in wheat berries, and I grind it up myself. But when it comes to having just an all-purpose white flour that you want for lighter things, I like the Simply Truth brand, and I get it through Vitacost because it's the best price of white flour I've seen. That's also organic. And then if I'm able to, if we ever happen to get into Costco and I get a hold of their white flour, they carry a good quality organic white flour in the store. As of yet, I haven't seen it sold on the online store, which is why I've been going with the Simply Truth, because I can get that online. And then when it comes to sugars, now I believe Now Foods carries your different organic sugars. I know Anthony's does, but for the best price, I still get my organic cane sugar from Costco and the organic coconut sugar. I have one that I've been getting through Subscribe and Save that's completely, I think it's the Viva brand of the organic coconut sugar, because I do use a lot of that as well. But if Anthony's has it at a better price, I'll be switching to that. And I've done the same thing, like, by the way, with the cream of tartar. I'm now getting the Anthony's cream of tartar as well as the Anthony's nutritional yeast flakes. And then just real quickly, because I know some are going to ask, I do have separate videos out on the whole grains that I get. Those I prefer to get from either Azure Standard, the Great River Milling, which is usually found on Amazon, but they're all organic, but they're a little more expensive, or I get the Palouse brand. Now, the thing I like about the Palouse brand is that it's grown here in my own state. It's non-irradiated, it's non-GMO, but they're not all organic, which I would prefer. But because of the cost of shipping for me to get Azure Standard, because we don't have a drop point, it's cheaper for me to get the Palouse brand in the hard white wheat berries than to get the Azure Standard. But I do definitely get their oats and some of their other grains, their split peas and barley, rye, and the white corn and their popcorn, all organic, non-GMO ones, and I'm very happy with Azure Standard. So I will also put a couple of links to Azure Standard down below. One thing about them is that we don't specifically have an affiliate link, but if anybody goes through one of those recommendations I give, like let's say for their organic non-GMO popcorn, and you place an order for like $100 or more of a product, I think it can be any product. Once you go through that link, it has to at least be an order of $100 or more. Then we actually get $25, that credit that builds up in our account. And that really helps us, because that way when I do place my order for Azure Standard, by then I usually can have enough money built up to get free shipping, and that really helps us a lot, because sometimes if I'm wanting to purchase like 150 pounds worth of grains or 200 pounds worth of grains, it can cost up to $200 just to have it shipped here. And they're only coming from Oregon up to Washington State. That's just going from there to here. But when I can get those $25 here and there building up, that has actually more than made up on 2 or 3 different occasions the cost of me having those items shipped. And so that's really been helpful. But just so you know how that works. Now, for those of you who have a drop point near you, I do highly recommend Azure Standard. They have lots of great products. They don't just carry grains, they actually carry fresh fruits and vegetables, I believe now, organic cheeses, and much more, like much more stuff. And so if you have a drop point near you, I recommend going with that. You can go to their online store and look, and you will find out whether or not there's a drop point near you and how close it actually is. So for us, the closest one is 60 miles away. It's in that next town over that we hardly ever get into, and for me it's not worth the time and the drive and the trying to organize the time, because you got to be there at a specific time to pick up your product and so on. It's not worth it to me. It's a lot easier for me to have it shipped and delivered. Anyway, I think that's all I was going to say about that, and that's just kind of scratching the surface. Again, I'm only just now starting to lean more into the Anthony's goods, and so I can't say everything about all the products that they have and how good the quality is. I just know what others have said and what I've used so far, and I've been happy with them. So, and the same thing applies to the Now Foods and any of the other products that I've mentioned. These are just some ideas from me. We're all going to have our favorite brands that we're going to use. Go ahead and feel free to share those down below, especially those ones that are most likely to be organic and non-GMO. And if you're in the US, what are the ones that you know are based here in the US, like the Anthony's and the Now Foods? A couple more reasons why I like these guys, and Azure Standard and the Palouse brand. But obviously different countries are going to have their different brands. Like Shelly often shares with us what she gets over there in the UK, and she gets non-GMO organic products. And so anybody from Australia, Canada, whatever, share what favorite brand you use that comes from your own country that you really trust, because that's going to help everyone else out. Because I know a lot of even though most of my viewers are obviously here in the US, I have viewers from all over the world, and they're going to really appreciate that information as well. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.